I don't think my wife could with me.
Fire department knows it by name now.
Depends on not people show up.
It's 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. First item will be a roll call.
Ron,
Here.
Todd,
Here.
David,
Here.
Murphy,
Here.
Gray,
Here.
Smith.
Here,
Next item will be a motion to approve the agenda.
so moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Everyone's had a copy of the previous meeting's minutes to review. If there are no additions or corrections, they'll stay approved as presented. It's the visitors. There's no public comments sent in, so we'll move on to the officers' report. Jamie is going to try to send in.
Yep, I'm here. How are you guys doing? I am in San Antonio right now at the ABC 360 conference. So it's been a good conference so far. I've got one more day tomorrow. I've got about 7 pages of notes, so a lot of things to work on and that are coming. There's a lot of things they talked about as far as new audits that are being done for non-emergency transfers for Medicaid. There wasn't really any audits all during the pandemic, so now they need to make up for lost time, I guess. So there's a lot of audits coming. They talked about balanced billing and how that's probably going to go away for us. It went away for everybody but us already, so we're probably next as far as the ambulance industry. And they talked a lot about sequestration today. It came back 1%, 2% will come back July 1st. And then in 2023, there's a new thing that'll come into play, which is PAYGO, which will be a 4% reduction in our Medicare. So those are all things we need to keep a watch on. I also met with the attorneys that are doing our claim review, and they said that'll probably be done about June. So that's coming along well, he said. I think Katie gave you guys all a handout from Missouri Ambulance Association for board training. That board training is June 28th and 29th. They also are having HR billing and medical director seminars during that time too. And for the board members that attended board training already, they also have an advanced board member training at this conference. So if you want to get registered, let me know and I can get you registered with the Missouri Ambulance Association for that conference. My report starts on, yes.
What does the advanced training cover?
I am not exactly sure. I have not been to the advanced training. I know Eric did go to the advanced training once, but I've not been to it. So I'm not sure exactly what they cover there. And there's,
Amy?
yes.
Kim Graves, do you have any dates of future sessions, please? Or have they not been announced yet?
For what?
For this training, I would like to go to this training, but June 28, 29 is in peak painting season for me. I was hoping there'd be something available
It's gonna rain.
fall or winter or on a rainy day.
So
You know of other days?
So this is the only one the Missouri Ambulance Association will have this summer. I will have to look and see what the MU has, and I can send that to you.
I'd just be interested in something maybe winterish. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll see what we can find. My report starts on page 4 with the sales tax receipts. For April, we received $280,073.19. That is up 14% over last year for the same month. Overall, for the year, we're up about 11% at $105,887.61. Any questions on that? Page 5 starts the financials. Page 5 is the budget performance, year-to-date, budget, and actuals. Operating revenue, you can see there we're over budget about 17%. And most of that comes from the provider relief fund payment we received. So total operating expenses are also at 61% of budget. So we're going pretty well there. I did highlight several items here that are over budget for the year-to-date budget, and most of those have to do with just timing. So I think most of those will be okay. And we'll look at the details in the next couple of pages. Any questions on that? Okay. Page 6 is the budget performance. This is year-to-date versus the annual budget. So we're at 25% is where we should be of the budget. So again, same thing on the operating revenue. We're over budget as what we've budgeted for the year. And again, it's that provider relief fund payment, and then our sales tax as well is up. Any questions on that page? Page 8, you'll see there the repairs and maintenance for Hwy TT. I've highlighted that. That one is up, and I do think that is just going to be a timing thing, but we have had some additional expenses out there, like when we had the septic tank pumped and we had more snow removal. So we might see those be over, but we'll just go along and see how that goes. Any questions on any of those expenses on page 7 or 8? And then you'll see those same items highlighted, the training material and gas. I think the training material will end up being over budget. There were several classes that Justin did not have budgeted for that had to be done this year. So we'll try to get a better estimate from him and before we do any sort of amendment on the budget on that. And then of course our gas, which again, our usage is down. It's just the cost is up. Overall, we are under budget still for the year to date, about 5% on expenses. So still doing pretty good there. Any questions on any of that? Page 10 is just our capital expenses, year to date, what we've got budgeted, what we have spent so far. So far we've only gotten our portable radios, a power cot, and 5 stair chairs. Is what we've paid for year to date. Page 11 and 12 is the balance sheet as of March 31st, 22 versus 21. And you can see that increase in revenue there as far as our increased checking account balances. Any questions on anything on the balance sheet? All right, profit and loss on page 13. Again, that is just January through March 22 versus January through March 21. So you can see the increased revenue, but also increased expenses as well on that. Pages 14 through 17 are the profit and loss by class, where we've broken out Pettis County and the Windsor district. And then on page 17, you'll see that allocation where we add back the calls we run for Pettis County out of the Windsor station. Any questions on any of that? Okay, page 19 is our bank balances. Oh, did somebody say something? Okay. Page 19 is our bank balances as of April 21st, and then versus the month before about the same time. You can see that's up 291,000. And then year over year, it's up 1.1 million. But keep in mind, we have a lot of capital expenses to pay for this year. We've got 2 trucks coming so far, so. Page 20 is that cash reserve analysis. So currently we have 6.37 months in cash reserve. If you just look at the general checking account balance, we're about 4.84 months. Pages 21 through 25 is the check register. It's quite a bit longer since we've changed to just doing this once a month. Any questions on any of those transactions? Pages 26 through 32 is our billing report for the month of March from the billing company. If you look at page 27, you can see our cash per trip is up slightly over the previous month. That's always going to be different just depending on what we receive each month. But last month it was $431.47, and this month it's $446.85 is our average cash per trip over the last 12 months. And our net collection percentage is up slightly at 58%. Any questions on any of that? Okay, page 33 is our AP aging summary, and the details are on pages 34 through 35. Any questions on any of those outstanding bills? If not, that is the end of my report.
Jamie,
Yes, sir.
I did have a couple of questions. I'm not really sure. On page 14, 15, 16 on the Windsor thing.
Okay.
How do you figure with the, like, say the first one, total insurance payments?
So that's actual calls that were billed from Windsor. That's the receipts we've received.
Okay, and then on the Medicaid, those would be the same thing, operating expenses.
Correct. On the
On the
revenue,
ambulance,
sorry.
Maybe it'd be better to look at next page there. On the employee part on page 15,
Mhm,
employee benefits.
mhm.
So we use different people at different times down there. How do you figure the benefits?
So the
Is
benefit,
that number of 32,776 is 20% of the total, but we don't have 20% of the employees down there.
well, we should have 20% of the employees down there. It's just the way it works out each month. It doesn't always equal 20% of wages. But so the 20% comes from that we have 2 trucks out of our 8 trucks in Windsor. So that's where the 20% comes from.
Okay, and then the other one that was quite a bit different was on the information technology near the bottom. That was only 2.3% of that total. Is
Yes.
that, they don't have many, they don't have the headquarters expenses, is that where that comes from?
Correct. And not everything is for Windsor in the IT portion.
Yeah, I would think that they wouldn't be using a lot of the IT necessarily.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
like the insurance is 20% for all of the general liability, auto, those kinds of things. Those are 20% as well. But then like work comp, that's based on actual again. So if I can do actual, I do actual, but if I can't, then we do an allocation.
It's probably hard to be precise when we mix people going back and forth.
So what I do on payroll, so it's where they're scheduled. So in our scheduling software, it says what station they're scheduled at. So the hours that they're scheduled at Windsor, that's what gets coded to Windsor. So if an employee works 48 hours in Windsor and 48 hours at headquarters, then that check gets split 50-50.
All right, thanks.
How would you fraction out the IT maintenance and the IT capitalization based on relative numbers of calls, or what formula would you use?
So it depends on what the expense is for. So if it's expense for something that is just for Windsor, say a computer at Windsor needs replaced, then that'll get coded to Windsor.
If something for shared, how would you fraction that? I'm just curious.
Yeah, generally we use 20% if we're going to allocate.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other questions on the CFO report? If not, I would take a motion to receive the CFO report. Do we have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Take a motion to approve payment of outstanding bills. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Move on to unfinished business. Account transfers. It's 36.
So at the beginning of the year, we transferred money out of the general fund to each of the different checking accounts for the capital expenses for 2022. So we never really discussed when you guys wanted to move the funds back to the general fund. So this is just showing you how much has been paid out of the general account or will be paid with these current bills. Did you guys approve the bills? I think we missed that.
Yes.
Oh, you did, okay. So with these current bills, this is the amount that will need transferred out of the to the general checking account from these other accounts. If you guys want to do that, I don't know how often you guys want to do that. If you want to do that quarterly, if you want to do that monthly, how often you guys want to do that. So this is just the details of where we're at right now. And for you guys to kind of give me some guidance on how you want to do that. So I just know when to bring it to you guys to move those funds. And that will be something that Mr. Davis will need to do after the board approves it. Because I cannot transfer funds.
Jamie, I'm fine for right now, just doing it quarterly.
Okay.
Unless once we get to the big expenses, then we can maybe move it monthly, like when the ambulance comes, or if we were to start on our building project.
Okay. So this report you have here then is for the first.
I'm trying to digest this. How have we done in the past off the balance, or do we
This is,
annualize it, or?
Jamie, do you want to go ahead?
So this is the first time we have done this. In the past, we didn't ever utilize these other accounts we had. So it's kind of a new thing as far as trying to make it more understandable for people that see the bank balances. They can tell, this is our general operating funds and these are what we have set aside for our capital.
If it were at my house and I encumbered or agreed on a large expense, I would set the entire amount aside but not necessarily pay the bill, but I would sequester it so that I knew what I had left to work with.
And
That's essentially what we're doing. That's the
Right.
purpose. I'm good with it.
Are there any other questions on the transfers? I'll have to take a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's to move it. Quarterly, correct?
Yes. Unless we get to a big expense where we need to move to month. Resolution 2020. That's what we did at the last meeting. We just didn't have the resolution to approve it, right?
We have the resolution, and we just need a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Highway TT Rehab is on page 38. Roy, can you fill us in on that?
So, for this year's budget, we got a quote from Septicon, I think it's in your guys' packet. But it's a large enough expense for that project, kind of want some direction from you guys. If you want, I'm sure you guys want to put it out for bid, do an RFP in the newspaper. And it's kind of you want to get that started, so we can take that step, because I don't know how hard it's going to be to supplies. And honestly, that number may have changed right now. I don't know how that stuff's fluctuating right now as far as the market goes, but basically approval to, if you guys want us to put in the paper for RFPs, approval to get that started and get the ball rolling on.
That's our standard operation.
Are the RFPs written with enough specificity that we can compare apples with apples and oranges with oranges on the bids?
I would think so. I'm trying to find one. It's very,
Page 38.
yeah, I mean, I think pretty much the bid spec will probably be what is on this. They came out and actually measured and did everything to kind of give us a number of what we're looking at spending.
And the potential bidders would have a chance to visit the site and do all the necessary due diligence there.
You put about a month notice on that, or a couple weeks, or how do you do that?
Jamie, how do we normally do that? Is it how long is the
How
process?
about it open?
Yeah, usually we do a month. We put it in the paper and make the due date be like a month in the future.
How much time do we generally give for completion of projects like this? Are we generous or are we pin them down? Because a lot of these contractors are well extended. Do we have it must be completed by date in mind? Like,
No, I don't.
We don't.
Necessarily.
all right, so
Sooner rather than later, but.
nothing really pressing.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, in this, at this time, when this bid was given to us in November, it said to allow 22 weeks for doors. So, yeah, I mean, we all know that we've got supply chain issues, that things are going to take some time, so.
Any other questions? So you need a motion to
Yeah.
take a motion to approve it, put the RFP out for the TT. That's great.
So move.
Who's that second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Gov Deals update.
So the portable radios were accepted for the 3,500 portable radios, and those were picked up. We should be receiving payment for those by next Friday, hopefully. As far as the mobile radios, those were not accepted, so we went ahead and relisted those on Gov Deals, with a reserve of 3,000, so we're hoping to hear back, hopefully by the next meeting, whether those sell or not. We'll get you a better update by then.
Question. If they sell and the $2,000 is realized, where does that money go back into the budget?
My request is that it goes back into communications equipment, so we can take that money and turn it around and buy more.
So it goes back into a like category. Okay. Just want to make sure that it does. Thank you. Any other questions? Bylaws, that's just a reminder that we will vote to approve those changes that was in the packet last month at the next meeting. Move on. We don't have any new business, so I would take a motion to go into closed session pursuant to RSMo 610.021, section 1.
Question about the team, then would you make a motion to send out to place it in the paper for other business?
Yes.
Septic on? Okay,
Yes.
right. Thank you.
So
We have a second. Second. All in favor, that would be roll call.
Brown,
Yes.
Cox.
Yep.
David,
Yes.